Would you raise your right hand? You do solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony given in the cause to be the truth, so help you God.
I do. Yes.
All right. Have a seat over here. Adjust that microphone if you need to.
Tell us your name.
Brent, Barina.
And what do you do, sir?
I'm a lieutenant with the Texas Rangers.
And how long have you been with the Texas Rangers?
I promoted in October of '08, so a little over 17 years.
What did you do before you were a Texas Ranger?
I was a highway patrol trooper for about 5.5 years from 2000 to 2005, and then I worked in our criminal intelligence service for about 3 years before that, or after that.
So how long have you been in law enforcement?
Almost 27 years.
And do you have any specialties in law enforcement?
A crime scene investigation.
Were you called out to Uvalde on May 24, 2022?
Yes, I was.
For what purpose?
The interior, different sections of the interior of the crime scene inside the building.
And did you also conduct searches or crime scene on outside of the building, specifically as to the room 24?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that's the one I want to kind of focus on right now, if I could. Okay.
Okay.
What drew your attention to room 24?
Myself and Ranger Scott Swick had noticed that there were some cartridge cases flagged. I guess we would have been to the south of the main building where the shooting occurred, and it indicated that there might have been some shots fired towards building 24. So we went in that area and started inspecting some buildings in that area.
And so from the casings, you started looking for buildings in which those casings could have deposited bullet entry.
Correct. We were looking for structures that might possibly have a bullet defect on them.
And did you find any with a bullet defect on it?
We did, yes.
And how did you confirm that it was a bullet defect?
It visually looked like one, and then we use what we call 3M lead check. It's a swab that you can test for lead. It has a activator and a dye that mixes, and when it's swabbed onto a surface that has lead, it'll give a kind of a pinkish purple color reaction.
And did you document that?
Yes, I did.
Did you document it with photographs?
Yes, I did.
May I approach you? Ranger, if you need the pointer to help you point things out for the jury.
Thank you.
Showing you State's Exhibit 634, will you give us just a general description of what we're looking at?
Yeah, that's an overhead view showing the main building where the shooting was, and then down towards the lower right where the white roof is. That's classroom 24.
And would you point out classroom 24?
Your Honor, may I approach? Please. This will be classroom 24. Over here.
Thank you. And your testimony was you started from a point where there were a series of casings. Is that correct?
It is correct. Yes.
And you looked in a direction where that may leave an impact on a building.
Yes, correct.
So showing you Exhibit 635. Can you tell us, is that generally where you were talking about? Excuse me. Can you tell us in general terms, is that the area where the casings were and the area you were looking for impact?
Yes, we were looking. They were in that general area, and then that's kind of where we started taking photographs towards building 24, looking for an impact, a defect in that direction.
Okay. And the red X, is that a place that shows where the photograph 636, the next photograph, general terms, where that photograph was taken?
It does, yes.
Well, you show 636. And looking at Exhibit 636, can you tell us where the building is that you ended up searching or finding an impact?
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
It would be this. It's this building right here, this tan building, just to the left of that Chevrolet truck.
And Exhibit 637. What are we looking at now?
It's just as the photographer's walking forward closer to building or classroom 24.
So you just close in with your photographs until you get right up to it?
Exactly, yes.
And Exhibit 638?
Yes, same building, just as we're getting closer to that building, photographing it.
And 639?
Same, now we're getting right up on it.
Okay. Did you find an impact?
I did, yes.
And what is the ladder there for?
It was a ladder I had that we used to get up to the height so we could photograph it and use the lead check swab to access that defect.
Okay. So that's the ladder you had to get to the impact?
Correct, it is.
And Exhibit 640, would you tell us what that is?
That's us getting a little bit closer to it.
Okay. And I want to take just a minute while we're still out a little bit. Can you tell us the nature of that material that the building is made of?
Yes, it's a sheet metal.
And does the sheet metal have ridges or different ins and outs of that sheet metal?
Yeah, I refer to it as kind of corrugated. It has ridges and, kind of peaks and valleys.
Okay. Point out for us where your ladder is. Point out to us a peak and point out us a valley.
Okay. You're on the map. I would consider this kind of a peak and then a valley on this side, valley peak.
So the peak is where the ladder two legs straddle it. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And then just to the right, there's another peak
Correct.
of the same size.
Yes, correct.
And to the left, is there another peak of the same size?
Yeah, it looks like where the conduit's attached to, yes.
And that pattern repeats itself all the way down the wall. Is that correct?
It does, yes.
And so the peaks are raised and the valleys are lowered or further away.
That's correct, yes.
And not only, and is there an impact in Stakes Exhibit 640?
Yes, there is.
And is it in a peak or a valley?
It's in what I would call a valley, yes.
Okay. Would you show the jury again where the peak is?
Yes. The peak would be over here, and then the valley would be here.
The valley being recessed, about how far?
Maybe an inch, approximately an inch, something like that.
Okay. And did you point out the impact for the jury?
Yes, it would be this area right here.
And what you're holding is that what is that?
That's the 3M lead check that we use to test if it tested positive for the presence of lead.
Okay. And just to the left of that valley where the impact is, what is that?
It looks like a conduit, like a plastic piece of conduit pipe.
Can a bullet go through a piece of conduit like that without leaving an impact wound?
It could if it just kind of grazed it and skipped off of it. If it actually hit it straight on, it could go through it, or it could fragment.
Was there any impact on the left side of that conduit?
Not that I could clearly see. I mean, I can't rule out the possibility that it did impact that, and then the round fragmented, and then went through the surface, the metal surface.
I guess what I'm asking is, in your inspection of impacts, did a bullet travel through that PCV pipe and then enter that valley?
Not that I can tell. If it did hit the PVC pipe, it would have been on the edge closest to the impact site.
Excuse me, I didn't understand you.
I said if it did impact the PVC pipe, it would have, or the conduit, it would have been on the side closest to the impact site on the metal.
Would that be in the right-hand side?
Correct. Yes, correct.
So the only impact you saw at all was on the right-hand side of the PCV, if you saw it at all?
That's correct. Yes.
Not on the left-hand side?
No.
So do you have an opinion as to whether or not a bullet came from the left-hand side through the PCV, into the valley, and then into the building?
Yes, my opinion would be that it may have possibly struck the right side of the conduit and then into the sheet metal.
But not the left side?
That's correct, yes.
And so, are if you'll use the pointer one more time. Could you show us again where room number 24 is?
Right here.
And where is that impact site?
It's on this this west side right here.
And then is room 111 back on the east side of the fourth grade wing?
It is, yes.
And so could a bullet coming out of room 111 make that impact without impacting the PCV pipe on the left-hand side?
In my opinion, no.
But could that same impact come from the position you saw the casings?
It could, yes.
And that's why you took pictures of it?
Correct, yes.
Okay, please be seated. Okay, again, we've taken a matter up outside your presence, ladies and gentlemen, so you may proceed. Mr. Turner?
After you found the defect in State's Exhibit 641 behind you, did you thereafter go inside room 24?
I did, yes.
And the State's Exhibit 642 show us the entry then into room
Yeah,
24?
It does, yes.
And tell us what we're looking at in Exhibit 643.
That's the entry door to classroom 24.
Yeah, 643.
That would be the interior. That would be facing the west wall, the same wall that the defect would have been on the outside.
And there's in the next exhibit, 644. What are we looking at here?
That's a close-up of us pointing the camera up through the ceiling tile, and you can kind of see the hole from the inside of the classroom.
And State's Exhibit 645.
That's us up into the ceiling, through the ceiling panels, getting a close-up of the interior side of that defect.
Thank you. Now, that was not all you did in the case, is that correct?
It's correct, yes.
And did you also have an opportunity to go into rooms 111 on that very first day?
I did, yes.
And at that time, were there still the remains of this shooting in that room?
Yes. When I got the time I got there, when I went to 111, the only body that was inside the 111 was the body of the suspect.
Okay. And does the body of the suspect show his relationship to his gun?
Yes, approximately, yes.
And does it show how he was dressed?
It does, yes.
So as to compare to eyewitnesses who may have seen a gunman?
Yes.
Going next to 734. And you can go ahead and go to 735 now. And I'll just ask you, we just saw 734. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the man in black?
Yes, that's how I found him, yes.
And State's Exhibit 735, does that show him in relationship to a weapon?
It does, yes.
And would you show us where that weapon is?
On your monitor, may I approach? The weapon, the rifle is right here in the closet on the back wall.
Okay. And about how far from his feet?
I'd say within less than 2 feet.
Okay. And moving now into room 112 from 111. No photographs. We have no photographs of that, but you did see it?
I did, yes.
You did observe it?
I did, yes.
And would you describe for the jury what you saw?
When you walk in the main entry door from the hallway, there was a lot of desks that were kind of clustered up, scattered around, and then there was a concentration of deceased bodies kind of in the northwest corner of the room.
A concentration of deceased bodies?
Yes.
And were they adults or children?
There was children and one adult.
One adult and children.
Yes.
And were they clustered away from the door?
Yes, if you were to walk in the entry door, they were to the left in that corner to your left.
And were they away from the windows?
They were, yes. They were on the opposite side of the room from the windows.
Pass the witness.
Is it Barina?
Yes, it is.
My name is Nico LaHood. I'm one of the lawyers representing Mr. Gonzales. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay, yes, sir.
You've testified for board.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you know how this works.
Yes, sir.
So are you familiar with the Hellfire trigger system?
I'm not, no, sir.
Okay. You've never heard anything about it?
No, I heard briefly them talking about it. I wasn't responsible for those two classrooms as far as the crime scene processing, but I heard talk about it, but I'd never seen one or actually knew what it did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In your duties as a ranger, have you done any training in firearms?
I have done some, yes.
You understand that there's some things you can put on a trigger to make it move faster and shoot faster.
I have heard that. I don't have any experience with it though, but I have heard there are some things.
But you have done tactical training yourself?
It's limited. I'm not more on the tactical side. I'm kind of a crime scene guy. I've done some, but very, very limited.
Do you do trajectory analysis?
I do. Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so as part of your experience in trajectory analysis, you have to understand how to handle a weapon, how it's shot, how it functions to actually give a better opinion of your assumptions you're making, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when it comes to trajectory analysis, other rangers have testified to this. It's really an educated guess of what you're trying to put together.
Well, there's a little margin of error, but if there's a perforating defect in the surface and then a secondary one, then that's a good candidate defect for a flight path rod, and it'll give you a good ballpark estimate of some location of the shooter. There are still some margin of error.
Well, the fact that you said ballpark means that it's not exact science.
It's not exact. Yeah, there is a little margin of error. Yes, sir.
And well, other rangers said it's possible. They use a lot of words like possible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about possibilities. Now, you've heard of a misfire. Have you heard of someone misfiring a weapon?
I have. Yes.
And misfiring a weapon has to do with trigger control. You understand what trigger control is, right?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so trigger control is making sure that your finger is in a safe position and not hovering inside the trigger guard, correct?
Are you referring to an accidental discharge or a misfire?
Well, okay, fair enough. Let's talk about accidental discharges then. Okay, what is indexing your finger on a weapon?
It's keeping your finger off the trigger.
May I stand up, Judge? Okay, so we don't have a blue gun, but I'm not going to ask for one of theirs. So there's a trigger in a weapon, and we're talking about a handgun first, and then there's a trigger guard around the trigger, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And then and this applies to a long rifle or a handgun, correct?
It does, yes.
And so when someone indexes, if law enforcement or if anybody training with a weapon is taught to index, you are taught to keep your finger outside the trigger guard. And if this is my trigger, I don't want to be in the trigger. I want to be outside the trigger guard.
Yes, if you're indexing, then your finger should not be in the trigger guard on the trigger.
And so trigger discipline references not being lazy about having your finger, because you hand a child a gun, they automatically, most people, even not children, will grab that handle and then put their finger inside the trigger guard.
I can't accurately say that, but that's possible.
An untrained person with not proper trigger discipline could potentially do this.
That's possible,
Okay.
yes.
And so many people that are not trained well, they automatically put their finger in that trigger guard, and that could create as you said, a misfire or an accidental discharge.
Accidental discharge,
Okay.
yes.
And so there's no way for you to tell in your analysis of trajectory analysis whether somebody does an accidental discharge or whether it's an intentional discharge.
No.
Right. And so if we can we look at, I think, is it 636 and 637, the pictures you guys had? I think it's exhibit 636 and 637. Bill, do you have them? Or who does? Who does he show us?
I was doing 7.
What is the image depict? That's what we need to know.
You don't have the number on it?
No, not on.
Oh, got it. It is, can I see the ones you have, 636 and 637?
They're probably up there.
May I approach, Judge?
No?
The ones you showed him, Bill.
Oh, that's 700.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's in the sixes. Thank you. Okay, so this is State's Exhibit 636 in evidence, but in the PowerPoint, it's whichever one they have. So this is 636. You testified to this earlier to the government, correct?
I did, yes.
May I push it? And so I think kind of the question they were asking you was they were trying to talk to you about the trajectory path from this place in the parking lot to building room 24. Did you remember those questions?
Yes, yes.
In a hypothetical, if somebody was intending from this west side, this is the west side of Robb Elementary,
Yes, I did.
and you know now that the murderer came in here and shot all the way up until he entered the building.
I do, yes.
And as if somebody was approaching to shoot at that side of the building and had poor trigger discipline or just an eagerness to want to hurt people, they could have accidentally discharged as they were coming up and coming across to shoot at the west side of the building, correct?
Yeah, that's possible. The only thing I can say for sure is that there was one defect in that.
And that's my point. How many defects were there?
There was one.
One defect. So if somebody took the position that this murderer fired multiple rounds to the south side of the building over here, it would fair to say there should be way more than one defect.
Well, I mean, there's a possibility he could have fired over to the left or to the right. We just didn't find those defects. There's a possibility he could have fired more. All I found was one. So all I can say was there was at least one. There could have been more.
Well, whose responsibility was it to find if there were more?
I'm sorry?
Whose responsibility would it have been to find if there were more defects?
It was mine.
Okay. Did you find more defects?
Not in that classroom, no. Like I said, there could have been more that went out in the open air and landed in the ground somewhere way out there.
But at the time you found that one defect, you weren't told to look at room 24, correct? You were just looking for defects.
Yes, that's
Right.
correct. Yes.
So you looked at all the buildings, did you not?
Yeah, in that line of sight, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you could have looked behind the buildings too. I'm sure you looked behind
Yeah, we searched that entire area, yes.
that entire area you searched.
Yes,
And you found one defect.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So back to my original question. If somebody made the claim that they were standing further down to the south side of the building, close to the east side, and that the murderer fired multiple shots at this person, you should have found more than one defect.
Yeah, well, I can't say that again.
Can we talk about probabilities?
Sure.
More likely than not, you should have found more defects.
It's probable, but again, like I said, there could have been where he shot over, depending on how he had the gun held, if he was, and what the angle of the barrel. So there's something could have went over. I can't say he fired multiple. All I can say was that for sure, and certainly was that there was one round fired in that direction. All I can say.
Well, one round went in that direction. It doesn't mean it was intended to go there, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so this, but what my question is, bullets don't just disappear, right?
I'm not sure your question.
Well, I mean, but if somebody, I gave this example to another ranger. On New Year's, we're told not to shoot guns up in the air, right? You've heard that safety announcement?
Yeah, sure.
Right? Why is that a foolish thing to do?
Because it could come down.
What comes down?
The projectile.
Right, they don't just disappear.
Right. Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So if somebody shoots projectiles, multiple projectiles in this direction, there should be probably more defects than one.
Well, I mean, they could go over, and when they come down, they could end up inside the dirt, and we just don't see them. That's a possibility I can't rule out.
But bullets don't loop, do they?
Well, there's a parabolic. Once they come up, they're shot in a parabolic arc. So once they go over, they're gonna arc and come down. They could go into the ground.
If somebody's on the ground, if somebody makes the claim while they're on the ground that somebody shot at them from this angle multiple times, there most likely probably would be some defects on these buildings. Right?
There could be. Yeah, I mean, like I said, all I can certainly say there was one. That's all I can say.
Just one.
Yeah, anything else I'd be speculating.
Okay. and I don't want you to speculate.
Yes, I don't either.
And so if somebody is intending to shoot this side of the building, and they had poor trigger discipline, and an evil intent to hurt people, they could get over anxious, and they could accidentally discharge up as they're coming across, because we know for sure there were many, many defects on this side, right?
Yes, there were.
Have you heard of a ricochet?
I have, yes.
Explain to the jury what a ricochet is.
Ricochet is where the projectile strikes the surface and then usually at a low angle, and then it ricochets off and continues its flight path past that point.
And so when a bullet hits an object, and when you do this in trajectory analysis, that's called an intermediary object, right?
You talking the surface it hits?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right. And then that bullet can do something else.
Oh yeah, yes, can.
Was there a laser trajectory done from the spot we're looking at in Exhibit 636 to that one defect?
There wasn't, because that defect was not a candidate to put a flight path rod in, because there wasn't a secondary or defect for us to run a rod through and attach a laser to, so it wasn't a candidate for it.
Was not a candidate for,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, sir.
So was that defect on the higher part of the building or the lower part of the building?
It was on the higher part.
And so if somebody on the ground said that that shooter fired multiple shots at that person as they're on the ground, or at least standing on the ground, it's less likely that that defect would be high up on near the ceiling, near the roof, right?
It depends on how they were holding the weapon and what the angle of the barrel was.
I said multiple rounds, remember that? So there should be more than one defect.
Yeah, and again, all I can tell you is there was one. I didn't see any more than one.
Fair enough. Now we saw that picture of the suspect in Exhibit 734, I believe it was. You recall that?
I did, yes.
That person lying on the ground, and I'm not going to show that picture again.
Okay.
That picture of that animal lying on the ground, that person is the one responsible for stealing those children, right?
He is the one that shot him, yes.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Barina, Ranger Barina, the weapon the gunman was using, you're familiar with it?
I am, yes.
And the round that he was shooting?
Yes.
What's the distance on those? How far can they go?
I would say at least 150 meters.
150 meters? Okay. And if they strike the dirt, would you be able to find it?
Probably not.
And if they're shot over the building, would you be able to find it?
No, probably not.
And on that exhibit that's in front of you now, to the left of that building, could you tell us what it's composed of? To the right of the building, excuse me.
Where the fence is?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the air conditioning HVAC units.
No, I'm sorry. Would you approach? Let me go. This is where the building was struck. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And all the way across here, what is this?
It's open field.
Is there any way you would recover a defect in an open field?
The probability would be very slim. No.
And if shot above the building 24, was there a defect there that would have been recoverable by you?
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Shot above the building, would you have been able to recover a defect shot above the building?
If it went over and into the grass, no, the probability would be very low to recover that.
And to the right of the building, do we have open field also?
We do, yes.
And the same question about likelihood of recovery.
Yeah, it'd be a low probability, same likelihood, yes.
How's it?
When it comes back to our, may I pose, Judge? Sure. Back to our hypothetical. If that same person that claims that the shooter from this position shot multiple rounds at them, and they're further down, you have this HVAC unit and all the fence that would be, at the very least, concealment, maybe even some cover for them, right?
For who?
Someone behind it, someone on the south side of the wall, I mean, of this building.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, it's possible, yes.
Well, I mean, it's not possible that's there. This is in the way.
Well, Are you talking about the HVAC units as cover or the?
Yes, sir. If in our hypothetical, if the person's behind it, they would have to shoot through the HVAC units to try to hit them.
Well, again, it depends on how they're holding the weapon.
You'd have. Okay, well, explain that to me.
Well, if the person's if they're holding it at the hip and the barrel's aimed up, they could get over those HVAC units fairly easy.
Well, unless you'd have to be 20 feet tall, right? I mean, what if the person is just regular height people? I mean, it doesn't lob. You can't. It's not a grenade, right? You can't lob a bullet. It shoots very direct, right?
No, not. I mean, the trajectory is based on how the weapon's hold. You can. Well, I've seen many shootings where they hit the weapon and fired high, and a lot of their rounds were inaccurate because they had it at the hip and were shooting way high.
I'm not talking about inaccuracy. I'm talking about probability of hitting somebody because they're behind these HVAC units. If someone's behind this HVAC unit, they'd have cover from the HVAC unit, right?
They would, yeah.
So the shooter would have to, the shooter would have to move out to the right of the HVAC unit, or however they're holding it, to try to shoot that person behind the HVAC unit, right?
If they were behind the HVAC unit, I would think so, yes.
Well, in my hypothetical, this person is behind the HVAC unit, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so like you're behind the desk. Let's say that desk is covered and I wanted to shoot you in the leg. If that's true cover and can protect your legs, I can't shoot your leg.
Probably not, no.
Well, if it's cover, I can't because I can't see your leg.
Yeah, well, it depends on if it's hard or soft cover. If it's hard cover and it would stop around, then yes, you wouldn't be able to shoot my leg. But if it's plywood or something or soft metal, then it would go through and you could possibly hit your target.
So you don't know this yet, but we've already explained to the jury the difference between cover and concealment.
Okay.
So the material, this is concealment. This is not cover.
Right, exactly.
Let's assume this is cover.
Okay. Okay.
If I wanted to shoot your legs, I'd have to move around to shoot your legs, right?
Yes.
So same thing with these HVAC units. If there's someone behind the HVAC unit and I'm shooting from this place, I'd have to move around the HVAC unit to get line of sight on you to shoot you.
You would, yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
And so if that happened, and the shooter was further to the right, because in that hypothetical, that person is being shot at, we would see evidence of the person, the shooter, firing from the right.
It's possibly.
If someone made that claim, and you and I were prosecuting that case, what evidence would we present to a jury that somebody shot at someone behind that HVAC unit?
I guess we don't understand your question.
Would we bring shells and shell casings? Because we're making a claim that someone took a shot at them and they had a line of sight. If somebody was further to the right, should there be shell casings here if we're making a claim like that?
There could be, but again, ejection pattern analysis is not always accurate because if they manipulate the gun any kind of way, it can change that pattern. And if they're moving or the weapon's moving, then it can change that pattern. So it's possible, but I can't say for sure that would be an indicator of it.
Are you aware that there were shells found on this side of the building?
Yeah, my recollection, there was some there, and there was some on the other side of the gravel driveway, I believe, also that were marked.
What gravel driveway?
The one there, I believe.
No, sir, you're wrong about
Okay,
that.
okay.
So it's just right here, right?
Okay.
Right on the edge.
Okay.
So that's my point. So if we found...
That's a misstatement of the law, of the facts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, what the lawyers say in their questions is not to be construed as fact. So therefore, if it differs based upon your recollection, rely on your own recollection. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. And so, as we recall, we remember that there are shells up and down this,
Yes, sir.
kind of up and down the edge of the parking lot, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if there are shells on the edge of the parking lot, would the shooter be on the right hand of the shells or on the left hand of the shells, knowing that you know what kind of weapon was used?
Normally it would be on the left-hand side.
And why is that?
Because typically that weapon, or the most common ejection pattern, is usually to the right and slightly rear.
Right. So, and it's called the ejection port.
It comes out of the ejection port, yes.
And so they've heard this already, but just to make sure you and I are on the same page, there's a long rifle with an ejection port. The magazine comes in, you chamber it, you have a trigger inside the trigger guard. Once you shoot, then the casing is discharged to the right, correct?
Yeah, when the bolt comes back, it's extracted, ejected, usually to the right and maybe slightly rear. Kind of from if you're looking at a clock, the muzzle would be 12 o'clock, the stock would be 6. Most of them are going to be at 3 to 4:30.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And so if the shells are here, roughly, I mean, they're a little bit, but there's a collection of them, you know that.
Yes.
Then you agree with me that the shooter is to the left of those shells, that shell line.
That'd be the most probable position, yes. Unless there was manipulation of the weapon, something like that. But the most probable position, if it was fired in a normal position, He would be to the left of that.
But there were no spent shell casings found out to the right in that open area, to your knowledge.
To my knowledge, no. Again, I didn't work the outside.
Okay.
I didn't work that. We went over to classroom 24 just based on some intel that there was the cartridge casings found out there. So we went out there just to make sure nothing was shot in that direction.
1 second, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Pass the witness, Judge.
Do you have any evidence that the shooter in this case used this wrong trigger guard when he grabbed the gun?
Is that the one that the defense counsel was referring
The
to?
misfire? Yeah. Do you have any evidence in this case that the gunman, that the shots he fired were misfires?
Are we talking about misfire? Because misfire and accidental discharge are completely separate.
Let me ask about accidental discharge.
Okay.
What's your definition of an accidental discharge?
It's when the gun was fired when it wasn't intended to be. Somebody hit the trigger when they weren't intending to hit it, and the gun fires.
Is there any evidence in this case of the gunman engaged in an accidental discharge?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And would you go back to that exhibit that you just showed the jury? No, when you just showed the jury. And I believe the defense repeatedly said, if there are casings here, and you said you didn't recall that. Is that correct?
I recall when we were walking from seeing some flags for casings where I just don't remember the exact precise location, but I do remember casings being in that area.
Is this pavement?
Yes, it is.
Do you recall seeing any casings on pavement?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay, and how many times did the defense attorney ask you about casings being in this area on the pavement?
Judge, I didn't say that. I said the grass area behind the pavement.
He pointed right here, didn't he?
My understanding was he was talking about the grass area. That's what I was assuming. He was talking about the grass area.
Well, let's take a look at what the evidence shows, okay?
Sure.
Are there any casings on the pavement?
No, not that I see. Again, like I said, they were marking flags, and we obviously can't stick a flag in asphalt, so they're on the grass.
And it's exhibits 112, 113, 111, those have been identified as being casings. Those are not on the pavement.
You're talking about the ones that are marked 12, 13?
Yes.
Yes.
And would you show the jury how far up the red flags go?
Looks like they go up kind of where the asphalt meets the concrete.
Would you approach the photograph and show the jury how far up those red flags go?
They go up to your little past that drainage, where the drainage goes under the sidewalk, and then they come across.
And from that position, is there a line of fire to the defect that you found in room 24 that you've been talking about today?
Yes, sir.
Witness.
And evidence of an accidental discharge could be a defect high and away from any targets that could be shot at.
It could be, yes.
Right? So if you have evidence of a bunch of damage, like on the west side of Robb Elementary, and then you have what we call a one-off, right? A one-off high and above any potential target, that could be evidence of an accidental discharge as someone is swinging a rifle.
Yeah, I can't rule that out.
Right. Pass the witness, Judge.
And it could be evidence of somebody shooting from the hip.
It could be, yes. I can't rule that out either.
And have you said that you've seen people shoot high in these kind of shootings?
I have, yes.
So you do have evidence that people shoot high in active shooter situations?
Yes, yes.
Pass the witness.
No further questions, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
All right, sir, you're excused. The rule has been invoked. Don't discuss the case till you're aware the trial's over with, all right? Thank you very much.
May I have a point of clarification at the bench?
Okay.